I'm like, if they start playing cards, I'm out. I'm out. Because that's what we had talked about last time.
You better tell me that story.
And so for me, the three that stick out, and you know it's going to be the entrance of Thrawn, including the cinematic, all of it, the fake out of, you think, is Sabine really using the Force right now? The walls start shaking, and all of a sudden, the Crimea pops up, and you're like, oh, and then you have stormtroopers chanting Thrawn. Like,
I did not realize that the first time I saw it. I watched it again this afternoon with like the subtitles on. Yeah, they're chanting his name and saying march, and yeah.
And just the music, I'm glad it wasn't a theme. There's Thrawn themes. There's music that could be used. I felt that the music choices made that moment feel very weighty and heavy and intense, much more than if it had maybe just been some other Star Wars-y music, because it does feel a little outside of place of Star Wars, some of the music, but I think the choices have been all on point.
It was very like Zimmer kind of style. You know, it sounded like something you would see in a Christopher Nolan movie rather than in Star Wars, but it worked. It was so eerie.
There's some that are still going to complain and say the skin on Thrawn and this, that, the other. Some were saying he looks a little fat. I'm like, he's almost 70 by the time we get here. Yeah, I mean,
have you seen any generals?
No, yeah.
Like, have you seen any of these like historical figures that we look into and say, oh, that was a great general?
He was in good shape, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, before we hop to my next two, don't forget to give the video a like. Hit that like button if you're here and enjoying. If you enjoyed the show, you can let us know in the comments. And if you have questions or things you want us to address about the episode, throw it into the chat there. We will definitely do our best and at least give you what we think. So that was number one. Thrawn showing up, I thought was absolutely fantastic. Number two for me is, and I'm going to maybe kind of cheat, but I'll choose one. I'll say the intrigue of the show in particular, and I made a video about this earlier today, particularly the stormtroopers. I love when they're doing things like this that are new. I saw one person put out a video and say, I haven't wanted a single Star Wars figurine until I saw those stormtroopers, and I'm like, I want one of those. I'm not going to buy one.
Cool.
And I think this bringing back together, and what I thought is, I think it's going to tie up some of the Marok storyline that was left and going to connect into these stormtroopers. So I thought that was just that whole scene, the stormtroopers, Thrawn, that's my 1 and 2. I thought that was done fantastic. I will be honest, I was very nervous when the episode opened and it was Ahsoka and Huyang sitting in the ship. I'm like, if they start playing cards, I'm out. Because that's what we had talked about last time. Like, please don't give us 5 minutes of dialogue while they're waiting.
But I will say they almost made me angry too with their, tell me a story, and we all want to know that story, and then fade to black. But I feel like over the entirety of the episode, we kind of got that. Like, at least we got like some of the main factors what that story would be. But
yeah, especially
there, like, you better tell me that story.
Especially the conversation between Baylan and Shin. I think we're getting the story through Baylan, which I prefer because we didn't see a lot of Baylan, and that is going to be my number 3. I am really, really interested in what's going to happen with Baylan and Shin. We've seen that Thrawn says right out the gate he doesn't care about them at all. Like, they can be stranded here. He doesn't care. That's kind of wild to me, because that already shows that he has no allegiance to them. And really, Baylan probably doesn't have any allegiance to Thrawn. He just wants this power that the Night Sisters are afraid of, and I'm here for it. I thought those storylines were great. I did like Ezra. I did like those things, but I really love the furthering of the storyline through Baylan. I thought the show needed that, and it's so sad that Ray Stevenson isn't continuing, because I think he's been one of the best parts of the show week in and week out. And I wonder, do you think, Dean, are they going to recast Baylan? Because I don't think he's going to die.
I kind of do think he's going to die. Usually it's the people who like pursue the greatest power that end up getting destroyed.
Fair.
So I do think he's probably going to die. But if he doesn't, then you have to, because he's too awesome of a character. Like if in this story, like, and especially if they leave it to where he's, you know, I don't know, he's in control of a ship coming back to the other galaxy with whatever power, or, you know, I don't know, probably just another whale. But like whatever that is, if he's actually like a part of the story moving forward, then you have to recast him. And it sucks because you're not going to get a better actor for that role. Like, it's one of the few times I've looked at a Star Wars character lately and been like, I can't see anybody else doing this, like, at least to this level. Like, Ray Stevenson is just, he's killing it. And he's been like the total intrigue of this entire show up till now. And so, yeah, like it would be a disappointment, but I think it would be necessary if they're going to continue his story.
Well, we have 2 episodes to find out, and we'll find out what happens with him. But he has been just, every time he's on the screen, just the presence, and it shows very differently because there has not been a single character in this entire show that I think commands the presence that Ray Stevenson has commanded. And it's beautiful in a way that this is his last project and a way to be remembered and a thing that can be held up to be like, it's a beautiful moment, but also it is sad and tragic that he can't and won't be with us any longer.